The Always Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the GallowgateShots YouTube channel. We are back for your Monday night live show. It is 7:30. We're only 2 minutes late this week. In fact, we're probably a week and 2 minutes late because we didn't do last week. Yeah. So I had a bit of a bug last week, so I was
international break done win, didn't it?
And the three lads just couldn't be asked to do one. No,
Decker was away.
Decker was not away.
No, he'd only got back though. He was back, but he'd only got back. He was feeling tired.
I don't think he was. I think he just couldn't be asked. Same as you.
I couldn't be asked.
I was happy to do one.
Oh, stop blowing smoke with his ass.
I
couldn't be asked.
I noticed you waited until everybody else replied saying they couldn't be asked to do one. Then you went, I'm happy to do whatever anybody else wants to do.
I want a night off. I'll catch up and bake off and stuff like that.
That's what Sundays are for.
We did actually watch
especially when you're hungover.
Yeah.
But we are back. Myself, Chris, joined by Bestie, Mark, and we have Chris Tunn back in place of Decker.
I don't know if I'm going to replace what that is. It's just this lad who plays golf that sort of slots in this place.
Yeah, that is kind of in true difficult fashion.
Isn't that just what Decker does anyway?
As we press record, your mic stopped. So unplug that mic and plug it back in. But yeah,
it's like he hasn't been away.
That's Decker's seat. Right now, mate?
Any good? No.
Aye, perfect.
Aye, lovely.
But yes, Chris is joining us tonight just to talk all things Newcastle United. So send your comments in throughout the show. We'll go through as many as possible.
Have all the Arsenal fans switching off now.
As always.
Oh, Decker's not on.
I know.
All the Arsenal fans are James Bond enthusiasts.
So people that know Decker knows he's obsessed with many things in life. Normally the most popular things, isn't it?
He likes winners,
like
does Decker.
Tiger Woods, Yankees.
James Bond.
Verstappen.
He's big into James Bond. Yeah, aye.
He's not a Verstappen fan.
He is a Verstappen fan. Yeah, he is. And he likes Back to the Future. He's probably seen that movie about millions of times.
At least once a month.
Once a month. I bet you should go back and see that different.
But he has decided to go to the cinema once again.
Let's just jump in me DeLorean
to watch Back to the Future. So that's where Decker is. Missing 2 weeks, 3 weeks. He's not even here next week either.
Is it all three films on?
This is the longest birthday celebration ever, isn't it?
Yeah, he's taking the piss, isn't he? He is. But yeah, let's talk about Newcastle United. Bestie, I am going to come to you first of all.
There you are.
I'm going to do things a little bit different, similar to what we did the last time, rather than just looking at the match as a whole and certain things. But let's just look at certain moments, which is going to have a bit of a talking point.
Mm-hmm.
Are you worried that we cannot score a goal from open play?
Yes, a bit. I went out after the game on Saturday thinking about those two golden chances in the second half, the header over the top and the kind of scuffed when he was one-on-one. The defender's closing down a bit, but he should do better. I totally forgot about Jacob Murphy blocking Isak's shot. I forgot about Dan Burns' header at the back post where he puts it wide, where he's pretty much on top of the post.
Oh, we thought that one was in as well.
There was another one. Isak, when he went through for Bruggen, came out and Isak last season goes around him easily.
Yeah.
I think he's just lacking a bit of. Well, he's rusty. He's had a broken, so he's not been particularly sharp this season. And so, and that to me, it's ironic, isn't it? And we said at the start of the season, after the first 4 or 5 games where we played awfully but weren't beaten.
Mm-hmm.
We had the draw away to Bournemouth. We had beat Spurs at home, beat Wolves away.
Mm-hmm.
Draw Spurs at home, maybe. Oh, beat them 2-1.
No, beat them, yeah.
2-1, yeah. But we weren't playing particularly well. And then we played well against Man City, drew. Played well, I thought, against Everton. Couldn't finish it off. Drew. Awful against Fulham, mind. Was really bad against Fulham, in fairness. Second half was better. But Saturday, I thought we absolutely controlled it up until the point where they got a free kick, we switched off, they scored. And I still think for the most part of the second half, we were a better side, but just descended into chaos in the last 20 odd minutes. But yeah, the one thing that was missing, and I was still with Smithy at the game on Saturday, and he was saying, it's that cliche, you've got to score when you're on top. We had all the ball, we had all the chances. Early on, Verbruggen got man of the match, apparently. In a few things I've already got the highest score. He was shocking with his feet early on. Gordon really...
Yeah, he nearly got caught a couple of times.
Him and Lewis Dunk both got caught with the ball a couple of times and was getting sliced out and going for throw-ins. And I thought, we've got these here. And Brighton are a good side. But just couldn't score the goal. And we're making the chances. I think I saw someone say that, I know XG is a bit of a thing, but we should have 2.4 or something.
It dropped.
It was high.
Just after the match, it dropped. It was on that too.
That was the thing for me. You say, well, we're making chances, but I don't actually think, other than probably 2 of the chances we had, we didn't really create them. There was like a very, very good move for Isak when he goes through one-on-one with the keeper.
Both through from Bruno, wasn't it?
Fantastic.
Bruno.
Tonali, brilliant little ball. That is a fantastic move.
There was the Isak air kick thing as well.
Yeah, all the rest of them just kind of seemed to happen, or were fumbled way into them positions rather than a nice bit of flowing football and a good pass out or something like that. Like it just, we seem to, I don't know whether you're creating a chance out of nothing, but it wasn't like, when you think about creating the chance.
Like a team builder.
Yeah, passing the ball, putting a nice cross in, a good split in the defence, a move like that, where it was just very much, but just kind of found myself in a position to have a chance.
I suppose it's good that you're finding those positions at least anyway. We are getting the chances to score, just not putting them in the back of the net. But it does feel as if it is the same thing over and over and over again with how we are trying to score goals, pass out a goal and see if something happens, pass it Bruno, see if he can do something, which it's all those main big players that do something. But it feels as if that's not happening as much as it used to, at least anyway. And last season's Isak scores 2 or 3, I think, on that day. I mean, he might have scored had it not been for Murphy's back, but yeah, at least we are making the chances. That's kind of where I would be on it. But
I think last season's Gordon probably gets one as well.
Yeah.
To be honest.
So Gordon gets 2 great chances. He gets a header as well, and he just rises above it. It goes well over the ball, that one. Then
second time he's done that as well.
Yeah.
Mine was poor, that one.
He's got the other chance where, obviously, it's a lot harder than Isak's chance earlier on in the game, Mark, where the defenders all closed him in from both angles, and he just panics a little bit and just kind of toe punts it, doesn't he?
He goes through, and it is good defending because they're putting pressure on him. But you've got to get a better contact with that ball, or if you're not feeling confident that you've got to
make the keeper move.
Try and at least maybe try and cut back inside and cut the defender. I don't know whether he's caught in 2 minds or what. And again, it could just be a confidence thing, like as we're saying with Isak's the same. Maybe after a run of games, the fact that he's been out injured.
Can I just address this Isak thing? Just staying with you. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, he wasn't match fit, blah, 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 a bit rusty." Come on. He's one-on-one with the keeper. It doesn't matter how match fit you are. He should be burying that.
It was awful. Yeah, it was a very poor finish. And I don't think it was probably his worst one. I think the one that he gets second half when he's kind of the right side of the keeper. And
that's a good save.
I know
it does well in space
he drags it across the goal to the
Are you
the
thinking about the one where
Jacob Murphy is flying alongside him, and I know it's Jacob Murphy.
He takes about 10 touches.
But Jacob Murphy is completely unmarked. All he's got to do is just roll the ball in front of Murphy, and Murphy's in.
Would you be rolling the ball?
That's what I'm saying. I know it's Murphy, but I just thought his decision making as a whole in front of goal, in possession, and stuff like that, and not to just dig him out because there was a number of players that were like that, just wasn't. And again, it could be coming back to the fact that he has missed games. He's not getting a lot of chances in the games that he has played, but it's just, I just found the weekend really, really frustrating, given the amount of the ball that we had, what we were doing, the amount of pressure that we did have. And then we find ourselves in positions, and it's been like this for a lot of this season and big periods of last season, where we get to the edge of the box and we just don't seem to know what to do with it. The ball will go from one side to another.
To describe the season so far, frustrating. Because like you mentioned, you alluded earlier on that before we had the poor performances, but we're still grinding out results. Yeah. Now the performances are getting better, and the results aren't changing, if not probably getting worse.
A little bit worse, yeah. I mean, I think we're playing better teams. We knew that at the start of the season was going to be quite generous when we had Southampton home first game, Bournemouth away second.
Scored 8 goals in that bursty.
Yeah,
which for an easy start of the season, people argued scoring 8 goals isn't great.
Well, it's not great, and I mean, but like I said, the fixture computer, whatever they say, it was quite generous at the start of the season, comparatively so. So we could get away with playing a bit more poorly because we weren't going to get punished. Like Southampton, we had a man sent off after 28 minutes and won a back foot all the way through it, and still did we win that one? I can't remember any of the results.
The
this
one
season,
where Fabian got sent off. That one.
yeah, he got sent off early.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
for,
sure-
for,
yeah.
when
The headbutt.
Brereton headbutted him
Yeah.
and fell over. Yeah.
That was it.
Um,
Was that a draw, that one?
I can't remember.
I feel like
I think we won. I think we won.
I was mortal after it, so I think we'll win.
I'm sure because of 4 points of the first 2 games. The second game was a draw at Bournemouth. Which
Or was that the one? Is that the one we won and I thought until the next day we'd drawn it? It's maybe where me
right,
mind's
Chris.
going.
And you're still thinking, no, that was a draw.
But we're right.
Hang on, let's have a quick look.
I'm sure we won 1-0.
I think they scored in them, but
2-1.
it got ruled off.
It was just by 1. I know that because we were holding on at the end. If I
Yeah.
remember rightly.
Oh, I'm nervous. Start pressure.
We won 1-0.
There we
No,
go.
that
Oh,
was
that's
all
all
right.
right.
Who scored? Was that the exact penalty? Joe
It
Linton.
was Joe Linton, 45 minutes.
So there we go. So we did win that one. But yeah, the fixtures were a bit more kind of comparatively easy at the start of the season. We weren't playing very well, but we could afford not to. I think we've improved quite a lot since then. But like Brighton are a hard team to play against. I thought we battered them in the first. Until they scored on Saturday, I thought we were by far the better side.
With the first shot on target as well.
Mm-hmm. Danny Welbeck's first ever goal at St James's Park. Amazingly, that. After he must have played it
Really?
like 20 times.
Aye, so I was
He's
like,
nearly as old as you.
that baffled me as
He's
well.
not.
You would have thought he would have at least scored for Arsenal
Yeah.
or something like that against
Nice.
us.
yeah,
Not
aye.
scored at St James's Park.
Or Watford or
until,
something when he was there. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I think he's played quite well there for the last 3 or 4 seasons.
until Doctor Newcastle shows back up.
Aye.
This is what we do, though. We just like,
Mind when you're
end
scoring
these runs.
when it's a scoring record against Newcastle, there's only Newcastle that you can score against to break that duck. Like so, it's not like you haven't scored at all for like 20 years. And then
Yeah, no, but we could have passed it on to the next season, till he retired, and he might never have scored.
we kind of did, and he's easy 33 or something now. Like, so. Yeah, we did. But Brighton, I don't think Brighton were great on Saturday. I think even their manager said as much. I seem to recall he said like, "Yeah, we got to paraphrase, kind of got away with it." a little
I was
bit, but-
surprised how bad they are because they've normally, put decent fight up against us. More so probably down at their
Some people-
place.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
We generally do terribly down there.
Aye.
I think back to cup matches with them, they had a Alabd at centre half, and I'm sure we had someone sent off against them in the cup down there. But then thing is, I've had players out, like they brought Estupinian on after like an hour, and he's brilliant. And you think, oh, hang on a second, this is like they've got strength, we've got like a good bench. I remember the teams were getting read out on Saturday, thinking like we've got some players on the bench here. Kind of forgetting that they have as well. They've got that strength and depth. And the canny side, he's got a decent starters manager. They're 4th or 5th now. I think they're 3 points ahead of us. We would
Ahead of
obviously-
us now.
Yeah.
that's not bad going. That like
No. That's why I was surprised that actually we're so poor.
So do you know
yeah.
what it is? I did the match reaction afterwards, and at the time I said that Brighton came with a game plan and executed it perfectly. But in hindsight, they haven't executed perfectly. The reason why they've came away with 3 points, Chris, is because we couldn't find the back of the net. So their game plan wasn't to give us these opportunities. Clear-cut chance, really. He's like 100%.
Yeah, he has to score, but I think as well for Brighton over the years against it's St James's anyway. I always remember the game in the season we finished 4th 2 seasons ago. Absolutely battered them.
4-0.
It was clearly they don't want to try and come out where it's St James's. He doesn't like to do that. Whatever. I know obviously a lot of things would have changed, but like again, like I think before the game I had that feeling of like I don't know, like they're one of those teams. Yeah. So the fact that we actually played so well was actually a bit of I say played well in a loose term, was actually quite nice. But at the same time, though, like I wonder if there was an air of like, oh well, it's just Brighton for some people, but for me, I'm like I always have a bit of a fear around that team for some reason. I don't know why, but then I don't think they were that.
Decker, isn't he? There's no way he would come out and say that. He would be sat there saying it's only Brighton.
I know, but like they are. But there is that error. I think probably for some fans that it's only Brighton, but at the same time, there's still what 3? They were on the same points as us. Now they're 3 points ahead. Like they're obviously not doing too badly, irrelevant of how we've played at the beginning of the season comparatively to what results we've got.
They went in the national break with a great result as well.
Yeah,
When
no,
they're 2-0 down against
they're
Spurs.
a decent
Round.
team.
Yeah.
They're a decent team. So for me, the takeaway was actually like on another day we win that one quite comfortably, and we did actually play okay. And I know there is the frustration, and I'm gonna get called a happy clapper by everybody on Twitter, but I actually think we did play all right, and it's against a relatively decent team. Just didn't put the ball about the net, but it's same as last week. So that's where the problem is really.
I think even if the game for me changed on the chance for Isak, because at that point, if he scores that chance, puts us 1-0 up, they cannot stick to that game plan.
Well,
it's gone.
Goal was only 90
seconds. Yeah.
after
Yeah,
that.
very quickly straight after.
seconds.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to talk about some performances, Mark. And we're going to have to start with Jacob Murphy.
He was great, wasn't he?
So, I'm going to word this wisely. They will now need to start asking questions to Eddie Howe about making this choice on the right-hand side.
I mean, it's not the first time that we've talked about this position in the last 5 years, is it? But like,
Fall from it.
I mean, but even so, this season, like, you know, Bestie talked at length about Miggy. I think last week, well, not last week because we weren't here, but you know what I mean. The last show, and it's you've got two players there that are seemingly your two right wingers. We know we've also got an option on. Yeah, we've got an option on the other side with Bonds, and you did think with Isak coming back, does it mean we'll go back to having Bonds and Gordon starting and going into that way? But again, he's stuck with Murphy, and I think Murphy gives you some things, like when he's playing well, he's, you know, he can whip a nice ball in. He's got decent delivery when he's on his game. He's got that athleticism to be able to get up and down the line. The negative sides come with that is his positional sense is awful at times. He'll wander off into the middle of the pitch, particularly when we're getting defended. He seems to just focus on the ball and gets drawn across, always leaving their left back open. Miggy, you know what you're going to get with him. He's going to run up and down that line all game, but he's then going to, you know, stop, come back, have to cut inside. So it's that balance between, and I think he's sticking with Murphy because when our chances are so few and far between at the minute, we're just trying to get in when their defense is pushed up a little bit, leaving that space in, the gap towards the keeper, so that Murphy can get the ball out there and just whip one in behind the defence with fast lads to run through. He's had to get through or Gordon to come in at the back stick and stuff like that, which we've seen had a lot of success in the past. It just didn't happen on Saturday and for a number of games so far this
So how long does he get though?
Hasn't happened.
How long does he get, Bestie, before somebody like? And I know you like Mark said, you mentioned last podcast that about Almiron. That yes, we all know Almiron is not a world beater, far from it. But if a player's not delivering good performances and what you're expecting as a fan and as a manager, arguably, when do you then look at the next one and go, right, now's your chance? Or we're not just saying Almiron. Mark's mentioned Bonds, but we've seen Bonds on the right, we've seen Gordon on the right, and the switch between each other. When does that need to start happening?
I mean, it's a funny one, isn't it? Because the reason Murphy came into the team was because his form picked up towards the end last season. Miggy was having a rough time. We've tried Bonds out there. I think Fulham. We had Bonds and Gordon. Was it Fulham? I forget one game.
A couple of
times.
times.
It didn't really work. It seems as if the Bonds and Gordon thing works better from the bench than starting the game with it and like team setting up against
It's like
it.
Barnes' numbers off the bench are so much better than when he is starting. So that's probably as frustrating as it is because he is a good player. But yeah,
it kind of feels like that. Yeah, and Murphy, I found him quite unremarkable on Saturday. I don't know if that's just the level of performance I expect from him.
Are you just becoming used to it now?
Maybe because
he's just there.
It wasn't a terrible performance.
Yeah,
he didn't do anything. It's a 5-6 out of 10, isn't it? It's just a meh.
Do you know reckon Miggy's raging though? Like the fact that he's not been playing that well and not getting.
Imagine Miggy raging. What would that look like?
I don't know. He doesn't got it in him.
That emotion.
No, maybe he's not.
That's a weird one, Miggy, because obviously they tried to send him for Saudi in the summer, didn't they?
And in America.
Yeah.
Charlotte, wasn't it? That was interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever any danger.
20 quid.
Yeah.
But,
I wouldn't go there after the pictures I've seen.
Charlotte.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, I think I might get but yeah, they didn't have the there was never the kind of the money there for Charlotte FC to get him. They were trying. Did last winter we try and offload him as well? Am I right in thinking last two windows we've tried to
January transfer.
Someone needs to send MBS a text. See if we can sort it out.
Amanda's got his number.
Oh, apparently.
We'll touch on that towards the end of the show.
Allegedly.
I think Mickey probably will be a bit frustrated because I don't think he could be watching Jacob Murphy think, well, he's doing stuff that I can't do. But what I did think on the game on Saturday when people were singing from Miggy, that we always talk about players getting better when they're not playing. And I think there's a bit of that with Miggy. When he comes on, we all know what Miggy's limitations are. But when he's not playing, those limitations don't quite seem to be as bad because they're not in the focus. You know, like we all said, John Joe Shelby got better when he wasn't playing. And then when he played, he thought actually he looks really like lethargic.
I'm glad you picked up on that because that's a pet peeve of mine.
What's that?
The crowd trying to
Singing,
force
trying to
force the manager to make the substitution.
They
used to do it constantly with Ben Arthur back in the day.
I tell you what, mine is, and it's actually related to Jacob Murphy as well. And it happened on Saturday. The ball dropped to Jacob Murphy about 25 yards out from the fucking gods onto his left foot. Shoot! And now Jacob Murphy is a better footballer than I'll ever have been. If I had practiced day in, day out, I would never have been close with Jacob Murphy.
Questionable.
Oh, mate, honestly, the difference. Jacob Murphy on his left foot, first time volley from 25 yards out. I do not want him shooting.
It's my biggest bugbear when we're at St James's, honestly. It's since Tiote. Literally since then, I
can't remember it happening once before Tiote scored that one, and all of a sudden, whenever Tiote got the ball, whenever Shea gets the ball,
does my head in.
Yeah. I couldn't believe that. Like, on his left foot as well, man. Well, I mean, that's a by the by. Yeah, Murphy was... I wouldn't say I feel sorry for him necessarily, but I think the people have been really cross with him.
I think there was worse performances on that field from players than there was from Murphy. Like,
I thought Tino was really poor on Saturday.
Tino was shocking.
Tino was terrible.
I thought he was really good in the first half. Second half, he just dropped completely.
I mean, the last 20 minutes, it was just chaos. Like, I remember Dan Burn clearing one straight up in the air and it landed like to someone about a yard in front of him.
Yeah.
I thought Burn was probably man of match as well on Saturday as it goes. Or Lewis Hall, maybe. But everyone, certainly the back four, Shea didn't have a great game. His passing was off. I thought Gordon was excellent apart from in the box. He really caused
but where you want him to be good.
Yeah. But it's one of those ways, go back. Yeah.
I think it was probably one of Bruno's worst games. He's had in a long time.
Sandro was nice and tidy.
Believe it or not, Bruno got man of the match.
Nah,
in the
absolutely
Chronicle
not.
Player ratings.
Not a chance.
Is that the other ones that the public do?
No, Lee Ryder.
Yeah. I would have said Lewis Hall, I think. Lewis Hall or Dan Burn.
Yeah.
And Burn probably made enough daft little passes and stuff to rule himself out.
Probably a fault. Well, partially fault for the goal as well, I would say.
What?
Who?
What?
Dan
Burn.
Get him right. This is it. Last time he's coming on this show.
I'm with him, man.
I think Shea and Livermental more so.
I think, come on, then let's justify this one.
You need to look at before
where he was.
You're seeing this. Where's Dan Burn?
I'm gonna have a look at this.
Where's Dan Burn? He's marking his man.
He's near me and you, man. He's sat near me and you in the Gallowgates.
He was basically in midfield.
He's probably on the edge of the centre circle.
Mark, how many times
with
in that game?
The man he's defending.
How many times? Be honest, though. Like, I know you're
not entirely his fault. Then fair enough. But like,
how many times during that game did we see why is Dan Burn there?
Once. And that's because he was running up. That was because he was in the Milburn stand and Gallagher corner.
Corner flag.
That's what I mean. That was definitely.
There's one point where he was the highest player on the field trying to hit it, and he was the only body there. I mentioned this on the match reaction, Chris. Is that Dan Burn? Do you know what it is? I like Dan Burn. I'm loving him a hell of a lot more as a centre back. Of course I do, right? But I feel as if he's like a 4-year-old kid that sees a football,
gets a bit excited,
and he just chases after the ball. And he just continuously runs after a player with the ball rather than going, hang on a second.
Can you actually remember how this goal came about?
What?
Do you remember how this goal came about?
But Dan Burn's not in position.
Why is he not in position?
Because he's playing fucking striker.
We're partially at fault. He definitely should be better. Yeah, I mean,
all on his door.
The lads at the back should definitely do better as well. But also, why is he not there?
Because we'd just been on the attack. He'd been pushed up from it. He's with his man. He's marking his man. He's right next to him at that time. And then there's a very quick free kick. So he can't possibly get back into position because of how quickly the free kick happens.
Would you expect Isaac to run after a centre-back all the way to our goal?
From a corner?
No.
We literally just attacked and we were in their half when they scored. They got a free kick, probably halfway in their half. And I think it's Dunk takes the free kick really quickly and just bumps it up to Sharon.
Lads, I hate to do this. But I think Mark's right.
I'm 100% right.
There's Dan Burn's man. There's 3 defenders and 2 strikers. Welbeck, I don't know who that is. You've got Shea. They're playing nice and narrow. Shea, Tino,
and Hall.
Shea, Tino, and Hall should do better.
I think with 2 centre backs should be a hell of a lot closer together in that position. Like,
I think.
But your centre back's coming back from an attacking move. Where we've been in that half.
Just to qualify that, he's coming back from inside our half. It's not like he's on the edge of their box. He's in our half at that point, so he could have got back. But
he doesn't need to because the players that are there
he's on his man
marking the players.
Welbeck's in share it together.
I
There's
get it.
three
I think,
defenders, 2 strikers. They should have dealt with it. But the problem was the whole team fell asleep.
I think it's
It's the quick free kick.
The free kick got given. It wasn't that quick.
But the
free
issue
kick
with
got
it
given.
is Tino puts a half-arse challenge in.
Yeah,
It's
poor-
so
that's
poor by
half-arse.
Tino.
Tino.
Yeah.
Really poor by
It's
Tino.
half-arsed, and he's got away with it. And people are saying, like, oh, yeah, like I said, he had a great 45 minutes, but fuck me as a defender, he needs to be wiping the player out to win that ball.
But he used to do that though when he used to be coming on and obviously wanting to prove himself. You would see him throwing in slide tackles all the time. He just feels a bit like he's not quite.
It was kind of a challenge, but he was trying to win it in the middle of the field, so it could just turn over possession. That's what it was like.
Trying to nick it off him.
Like what Diarmi used to do that sort of challenge all the time.
Yeah.
But rather than just clatter him, and Lewis Hall tries to come in, and he just completely misses the challenge as well.
Tino ends up falling over.
He just bounces off
Like,
well back.
it's-
Well, I wonder what Diarmi is doing now.
I've got no idea.
He'd be in
No
like
idea.
Qatar
He's
or
retired.
somewhere like that.
No, he
Sure,
must
he's retired by
He's
now.
retired now.
It's
He's about
8 years
104
ago
something.
he came up, like, so 8 seasons ago. So
Really?
he was in
I
his
bet
late
he's
20s,
still
early
kicking
30s by
around.
then. I don't think he's dead.
Actually, Young's still playing in the Premier League and he's 48.
So's Milner.
True.
But I think.
But I'm not having that
defensively
one laid at
we're
Dan
horrendous.
Burns' door. Like,
I think Dan Burn could have done better, but he's quite far down the list of lads.
Do you know what I'm going to give Dan Burn credit for? Right, he picks up the yellow card early on, which the referee lost it at that point.
It's a
for
silly
me,
yellow
like,
card to give away that, mind.
Yeah, he
There's
does.
no reason to do it.
Yeah,
Like.
he's chasing on the halfway line. The players go nowhere.
Don't know what to look out.
He makes the referee make a decision. The referee could have probably let him off at this point.
the referee couldn't make any bloody decisions the other way, though, could he?
I know.
He was poor.
He was
did,
shocking.
poor.
You got little pushes that when Shaqir's going for a header and the lads just shoved him in the back. He's got under it.
Ridiculous.
But
that.
I think the good thing about Bruno was that he picked up that yellow card early on, and he was still putting challenges in like throughout the game. It was like sliding challenges, last ditch challenging. You're thinking fair play. That's why I think he grew into the game as it went on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's probably because Brighton had more of the ball at this point as well, so he had to do that. But I thought out of the defensive partnership between him and Fabian, 100%, he's the better of the two.
I don't think Shea was that poor. He was bad on the ball by his standards. But I thought Dan Burn was a better, defensively was not excellent, but good on Saturday. I thought Lewis Hall played pretty well as well, as I say.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, he was quite tight on
Tidy.
the ball,
No.
which I think something I've criticised him for this season was his decision making and his quality hasn't been very good. But I thought Saturday he was better.
I think the way Brighton set up as well allowed him to get on the ball more and do that thing that sometimes is to his detriment. If you pick it up, you'll be going into midfield and carry it into there, because there was so much space in it because of the way that they were set up and kind of sitting back. It allowed him to do that. So he was able to then kind of get in and play more in that role and get higher up the pitch by coming inside rather than everything going
I think
down out wide.
Him and Tino are quite similar in that regard because Tino likes to carry the ball as well, doesn't he? Where Trippier has more kind of pass it.
When he's not falling over it.
Well, Hall was the other player that got a yellow card in the game as well, but his was for dissent.
Was he going downhill somewhere?
Aye. He was booting right off at the referee, wasn't he?
I was right in
I
front
couldn't
of us,
imagine
wasn't it?
that.
Rightfully so.
Was it
He
a free
doesn't look
kick?
the type.
So he
Rightfully
he
so.
got a free kick. Well, sorry, he didn't get a free
Give away,
kick.
didn't he?
And so the referee blew the other way, and Hall turned round and just starts holding his arms at the referee. Wasn't that much of a kick off, but the referee was
He
straight.
doesn't look like he has that much of a kick off in him,
Nah.
really, does he?
Nah, definitely not. But
He reminds us a bit of Jesse Plemons
whom?
of Breaking Bad, last season Breaking Bad.
All right, okay.
The white supremacist young friend.
All right, okay.
Looks a bit like Matt Damon.
Oh,
He's married to...
Todd.
Yes, aye.
Aye.
Married to...
It's very niche, that bestie.
Who's he married to? Not Claire Danes, the other one.
It's not that niche. Everybody in the world
Was
sees
Barry
Breaking Bad.
Antoinette.
I know, but like,
Who's that?
To pull that one out, like it is.
He does look
Yeah.
a bit... He's got a similar bone structure. I think is that niche. He's a Hollywood...
similar bone
He's
structure.
a Hollywood... He's an A-lister.
I thought we were going to go for like the light hair, maybe
Okay.
similar bone
If
structure.
you get on,
His cheekbones.
you get on the new FIFA, do your skeletal... Your pro skeleton structure. You think, oh, it's Lewis Hall. No, it's not Jesse Plemons.
Oh yeah, that's what I do, mate.
Who's he married to? Man, it's doing me head in that now.
I've got no idea.
Somebody
Shows-
will be tell
Shows
me in the
Marie
comments.
Antoinette.
Shall we talk a little bit about
She must
Bruno?
be some age.
Because, like I said, Chronicle gave Bruno man of the match, bestie.
Yeah, right.
And I thought he'd try a bit too much at times.
That's not like
Tries
Bruno.
to roll the ball on the edge of their box at one point.
Yeah. There was a couple of times I remember thinking he's taken a touch or two extra that he didn't need to. I thought round the box, generally speaking, for all the chances that were created, we made the wrong call quite a few times.
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst. Thank you,
Sorry,
Yeah.
that was
young maid of.
But we do that quite often, like and that's what I was saying before. Of we seem to get the ball at the edge of the box, and it just goes from one man to the next, to the next, to the next, from one side to the other, and then it'll get there, and then it'll come back across.
I think that's got a lot to do with how well teams defend as well, because we frustrate teams an awful lot as well.
So have a shot. Have a shot.
Jacob
Try
Murphy
and
did
do
on his left
something.
foot from 20.
It's almost like we're trying to walk it into the box, or we're looking for that little defense split and pass on the edge of the box, but nobody's making a little run into the box to be able to get on the end of it.
So what you're saying is, shoot.
I am, but in those positions. Because Christ,
Marcus started it,
I get that we're, retaining possession and stuff like that, but when you're getting absolutely nowhere, you've got to try something different.
What game was it where we were screaming for that in Bonds? Just out of nowhere, just took a shot.
West Ham, maybe?
Was it West
Last
Ham?
season?
No, I think it was a season. That was a season.
What was the hope?
No, because that's normally we plan, isn't it? It'll go out to that side and then he'll cut inside and
I'm sure it was
and
a
try and
season
hit
that we
one.
just wanted somebody to take a shot, and the first time we tried, he scored.
Wolves.
But we
That was
do
Barnes.
we do lack that outside of Barnes though, don't we? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
other than him, who
Fabian,
Fabian obviously,
but
but like, I mean, it's not as often you would say. Like,
Mm.
we do lack a little bit more of that, I would say.
Bruno doesn't really do it, does he, so much?
No.
His first season, he got a handful.
If he
First
does,
half
he'll
season.
always try and hit it with the outside. If he's footing just some wild,
He has got a weak shot, especially edge of the outside of the box.
Don't we-
Very weak.
Don't really see Sandro
Nah.
very often, though. I
he
haven't seen a
wasn't-
great
he's
deal of
not
this
a-
season.
a real goal
Jolin
scorer.
had that swipe of the ball when he was on the deck.
That was ridiculous.
Still
that
traveling
night.
now. That
I can't believe he did that.
and just
Even
like-
though Gordon's going away from goal, you'd rather have Gordon with
Gordon's
control
still
of
going
the
to pick the
ball.
ball up. Yeah.
Yeah, you would have wrapped
I think
back round,
you
wouldn't
mentioned Tonali, Bestie. Tonali is the player that substituted me and Mark in the ground. We were like, that's a strange one, because we thought Tonali was probably one of the better players
I thought he was,
at
yeah.
that moment in time.
Still nursing him in, maybe.
It's strange. Like why?
I would probably, again, talking to Smithy, I thought Isaac would have been the first, because he hasn't
Yeah,
really
I'm
played.
amazed he
I
lost
thought
the entire
Isaac
game.
for Barnes put going through the middle.
He said
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And try that. I was surprised, because I thought Isaac was quite poor. Even Isaac bring him off for Asula, because he came on for the last whatever it was.
9 minutes or so. Yeah.
Eddie just doesn't seem to fancy him at all, does he?
I don't understand that either. Like, throw him on, especially with Isaac being out for a couple of weeks. Like, what, he broken toe or whatever it
Yeah.
was. I'll give him like 20 minutes at least. Isaac looked dead on his feet.
He did look like that. He, at times, I thought he looked like a competition winner. Sometimes he just couldn't get the ball under control.
Yeah.
A few
Couldn't
times where it was bouncing.
Just shot out on him.
Something I've really praised him for over the past couple of years is how well his first touches are like beautiful at times. And on Saturday it was bouncing off, and he just didn't look. It looked like he hadn't trained at all, hadn't done anything for a few weeks. Wasn't it? He had his chances. He got in position for it a couple of times. That A kick, the one where he went through and Verbruggen saved. That one in the second half, that Verbruggen, that's really hard to say that. My mouth's getting dry as well. Verbruggen saved as well, one he's right, one that you mentioned earlier.
Done some
Mark.
dog thunder.
No, that's the last thing I want.
I'm going to go conspiracy theory here.
It looks
now.
like you're dehydrated and you've just pissed in that.
So
Oh, God.
has Isaac
Mark Letizia.
has Isaac been terrible because of this whole contract negotiation
right
thing
off.
and wanting
What?
to
He
be
wants a worse contract.
top paid
Hang
at the
on.
club and
How
stuff
can
like
he
that
get worse and want a better contract?
because he's spat his dummy out.
Nah.
That's the opposite. That's
Hey, well, hey, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
it's
This
the exact opposite of what Mark Viduka used to do. It's a
because
maximum
Gordon's
that time.
down tools because he wanted to leave and go to Liverpool. So hey,
He didn't down tools at all.
he definitely did. If you believe what people say, I didn't say this was my opinion. I just said I was going to conspiracy theory. Just putting it out there.
How long do you reckon he was injured though? Like beginning of the season with this toe issue, like because he hasn't looked necessarily fit to me from the get go. So I don't know how much of it is fitness or how was he carrying this injury for a longer amount of time. I don't know. Like again, I think what you said at the beginning, Bessie, was that the fact that first chance that he had last season, he takes around the keeper and just slots it in. Like that's didn't do that. Doesn't quite look up to speed. Is he just not fit? That's what I'm kind of thinking is what the issue is.
If you don't go around the keeper, you've got to hit it with pace. You've got to smack it. Not one of his shots did he put any venom behind it.
It's a pretty good save still, but it shouldn't have had the chance.
It's straight at him, though, isn't it?
You'd expect him to score.
We were more shocked they just didn't take around the keeper.
Yeah.
Like, because he's like,
The space he had, the
the
pace that he
confidence,
had on it.
like you said, Bestie, earlier on, the confidence that he has as a player and a striker.
Oh.
His self-confidence is through the roof, and you think, right, he's going to try and go around the keeper. If not, the keeper's probably going to bring him down in the same motion.
yeah.
That's the other
Well,
thing.
how many times last season did he see him on the edge of the box and just cut inside in his right foot? Like
Bend it.
up end like Mickey van der Ven or something. And he's got to tap in.
Yeah.
He did it time and again last season because he's got that confidence. He knows what he's good at. He's not sharp. I go back. It kind of goes back with the first thing you asked us, Chris. Am I concerned? I'm concerned that we're not scoring goals and we've got a really rough few fixtures coming up. I could see we're getting Chelsea are going great. I could see we're losing twice to Chelsea in the next week and a half. Arsenal next weekend after. That's going to be a rough one as well, I think.
They're missing a few good players. Still be hard, but
Is Will Salah be back? You got a 1-match ban, didn't he? I think.
It's not for the weekend.
That's
Isn't it?
three,
Straight
innit?
red.
Is it straight red?
straight red.
Has it not been?
No, but it depends if it's violent conduct,
That
doesn't
is
it?
it.
I think I've seen that it's
quite
only
long
one,
game,
but I
that.
might be mistaken on that. But either way, I mean, Arsenal are good. They're a really, really good side. But I would really need someone to score, and it's Callum Wilson still. Still,
It's so annoying. Like,
he's brilliant as
You
well.
thought
You know,
he was going to be on the
such a
bench
good
like
player.
the
When he,
weekend, didn't you?
I was really looking forward. I said when I did the video for the predicted starting 11, I said the option of having Isak starting up top, then Wilson on the bench, then that changes things completely for us.
yeah,
For a positive. Then when the team new comes out, Chris, that Wilson is nowhere to be seen again.
well, Eddie said, didn't he? It was like they're wanting to make sure that it doesn't reoccur. But bloody, I mean, we
There'll
were
be
told
something else.
we were told that in preseason, it won't be long, and it's like it's always something else that always seems to just be extended. I mean,
Honestly.
obviously, I know he's like getting a little bit older for a footballer, at least anyway. But like, it's ridiculous now, though,
he's
isn't it?
one loud fart away from another injury. That kid. Like.
Yeah,
they're not like recurring injuries either for the most
That's
part.
what I mean,
His
it's
back, he did his pec.
he's hurt his back.
The Forest, he's had that many different injuries.
The pec ones.
Is he like was it CM De Jong that used to get random injuries? Did he
Yeah,
get
collapsed
injured? He had a
lung.
poked eye at one point.
Collapsed
Yeah,
lung,
collapsed.
aye.
Marcelino's
Was a
one as
poked
well.
eye at one point as well, wasn't it? He got his
Yeah,
eye
Yeah, he
poked
did.
out.
I
I remember that.
Yeah, it's smart.
I am glad though that they're at least seem to be allowing him to get fit before rushing him back, because
We've seen
we've
that.
seen that happen
Yeah,
so
well,
many
yeah.
times in the past with Isak as well. You know, have we done that with him this season?
But what? January's
Who
coming
knows,
up.
but-
We have to look at a striker. We have to. In fact, no, we don't. We've got a Sula.
We've signed,
Yeah, well,
but
that's it.
this is the other thing I don't get. Everybody's we need a striker. When you get we signed one. Oh, but we didn't want to sign that one. Well, how are you? You've
But
got
who
your
do-
striker. You've got the one in. We all know we're not going to get a starting striker in that club, because as soon as we do that, Isak's nose is out of joint, and he's going to. Isak's your number one striker. Callum Wilson's your number two. Asula's coming in there as a third
Number
choice striker.
12.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, I think the only way you get a starting striker in is by selling Isak anyway.
Yeah.
The money it would cost you.
I mean, who's going to come in and just want to sit behind Isak?
Yeah.
Either way,
Not a
somebody of
chance.
that quality,
Yeah.
nobody. So
It was good to see Miley back on the bench, though.
I was just thinking that, that was nice, wasn't it?
Very surprising. I
Yeah.
didn't expect to see him at all.
No?
I know. Well, obviously, he just came back into training.
Yeah.
I just didn't think it would
What was his injury? Was
be
it
that,
anything?
that quick.
Was it that tattoo?
That was his injury.
shame.
He's beefed up quite a bit, to be fair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that happens when you're
yeah.
18, didn't it? Happen to me. I'm
Yeah.
still going.
Yeah.
I haven't stopped yet. I started at 17, we're at 42 now, 25 years of beefing up.
But yeah, it was good to see him on the bench there. Anything else that you want to mention in relation to the match itself? Gordon put some money behind the bar at the Berry.
Yeah,
It's a
I
nice
yeah.
bit of PR after missing the penalty.
I wish he
And
just
wanted to
scored.
go
Could have
Liverpool.
told,
Yeah.
So,
I'll double it next
Do
time.
you reckon he's done that because he definitely wanted to go to Liverpool?
Definitely. Surprised he didn't put it in the Irish club.
Good
Playing
PR,
the ball
isn't it?
there.
Good PR.
Nah, I don't know if it is.
I'm just winding you up, man. When you.
He can afford to because he's the highest paid player at the club.
Well, that was a question that just came in from Jules. Sorry, Jules, I've just seen it. Says, did any of you get a free drink in the Berry courtesy of Gordon's donation? No, we did not.
I only had one pint on Saturday. It was after in the head of steam after the time. It's probably Kruzovic.
I've never actually been the head of steam.
I love the one at
You've
I'm
been
not-
in the one in Durham.
I'm not so keen on the one at Quayside,
You definitely have.
but the one next to the
Where's the one on the? Oh, I've been on the one on the quayside.
next to Broche.
Yeah,
I'm
the
not
one-
so keen on that one, but the one in the city centre I love.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been.
That's very good.
I don't think I'll be.
Good beer. It's always
Opposite the county hotel. Not the county
I know it
hotel.
is. I've never been.
Is it county? Or is that the one on the same side higher up?
the head of steam's been head of steam as long as I remember.
It's opposite Station
No, I'm
Hotel.
saying opposite.
Oh, yeah, the Royal Station Hotel.
Royal Station, aye. County's the one.
It's
next
on the
to
corner.
Greggs, isn't it?
You got Newcastle Tap. I went to the Tap to start with, but it was dead busy, so I thought, I don't know, one pint. I can't be arsed to stand and wait. So went to Steam Man, had a lovely Kruzovic.
All right.
Very good.
Shall we go through the questions?
Didn't he play for Leeds?
If anybody does have any questions, send them our way and we'll go through as many as possible in the last 20 minutes. Mark, I'm going to come to you. This one's from Toby Sharp. That says, is Gordon flattering to deceive a little bit or just not getting the rub of the green at the moment? With us and England, he mentions there as well.
I mean, he certainly hasn't lived up to the standards that he set himself last season, has he? So far, I do wonder how much England in the summer has affected him. rubbing it. Given, everybody fully
Any
expected him
Freemasons watching?
to get a lot of minutes when he was away with England, and we all know he literally got minutes there. And
Against Slovakia, wasn't it?
the pictures that we saw of him looking, a bit despondent, shall we say, and then
Loads made out of that. It's a photograph of someone in a
I
moment
know,
of time
but,
like this.
like, he then went away and played, a couple of games earlier on in the season for them and looked fantastic. Last lot of games around, he didn't set the world alight there, but he just, I don't know. Again, he just looks one that looks a little bit lost to confidence at the minute, and again, the whole reason he's put the money behind the bar was to repay the fans for the response after the Everton game and stuff like that. Has that just again, is that nagging away at the back of his head? Because we all seen the overlap that he did and stuff like that, where he talks about what the processes he goes through. Like, I think he's very kind in that whole mentality piece of looking at his performances, being very self-conscious and self-aware of what he's doing and wanting to better himself and improve. And he'll be looking at his performances this season and asking himself those questions. Where's it going wrong? What can I do differently? But I don't have any doubts whatsoever that he's not that player that we know he can be. We just need to unlock it. And he has shown it in glimpses this season. Just that consistency.
I think it's just the end product. I think we talked earlier in the season about how he was away with England, didn't get much of a pre-season. It was too late for him to go to Japan because he's going to be getting there, then coming straight back home. So played 45 minutes of the pre-season games, I think, against Girona at St James's. So didn't have a pre-season at all. Really, his pre-season was after the season started. And then he's had a couple of national breaks where he's been away with England again. I thought on Saturday...
Yeah, his trademark shot where he cuts in as a shot in the queue, pulls off a decent save.
That wasn't a bad save, that. Yeah, it was quite a good save as well in the first half. And there's that's what happened. We've talked about like 7 or 8 shots that we had on Saturday here. Good, and these aren't like shots from Fabian Shea 45. These are like efforts. I think you've seen them go before, a lot. I think he's playing well. He's just that it's that final third, it's that end product. Someone around me on Saturday goes, you can tell he wants to be away, he can't be asked. And he's chasing everything. He's running defending. I've got no problem with what he's trying to do. It's just not coming off for him. Like I say, I remember when he first joined, quite similar to Miggy. Remember when Miggy played his debut against Huddersfield? Lobbed the keeper out and hit the post. I remember Gordon had one early on against Southampton where he was one-on-one with the keeper and put it wide. Now, I thought if he'd scored that, he probably goes late in the season, gets 3 or 4 before he scored against Chelsea last game of the season.
He missed 2-1-1s the last home game as well, didn't he?
Yeah, missed a penalty against Everton. I think he just needs to get. He needs a couple.
Sky's the one-on chance against Pickford.
Yeah, he did. I think if it again the event because it was Goodison Park and last time Goodison Park as well. Let's get him in a cup. I think he just needs a goal. He needs a couple of goals. And he'll be absolutely fine. I've got no problem with Gordon's performances. I think he's doing all right.
He's confident player, isn't he?
Saturday, apart from the chance that he missed, I can't really pick fault with his performance at all. I thought he was excellent, might be pushing it a little bit, but he was very, very dangerous, had a lot of intent, a lot of running.
He's determined. He was determined throughout the game. There's a question that's came in, just to go back to the Brighton game. It's from Anthony Allen that says, thoughts on the Brighton handball? That Scott follows up saying, which one, Anthony? Because there was 2. If it's the one I'm thinking, it's the only one which I can remember is me and you thought it might have been a handball in the ground mark.
Gallowgate in our corner, wasn't it?
He fell on it.
He fell on it, yeah. And the referee goes straight away, chest, like you point at his chest. And me, VR might look at this, which they did, then straight away. The game's already started again before we get the announcement.
It definitely hit his hand.
So slow.
So weird.
It definitely hit his hand.
I disagree.
But no, I think it does.
So if you look at it, the highlighted on Match of the Day, I think it is, and he does really well for not to hit his hand. He literally just tries his hardest to roll his body onto it because he knows that chances are he's going to hit his arms, and I think he does really well not to have that happen. So I'm not sure about the second one, which Scott's talking about.
I do think we could have had a penalty second half, though. I want to say it's Murphy, and then Miggy running into the box, and he's getting probably if it gets given, they probably pull it back for a free kick because it starts outside the box. Literally, it's one of those ones where it starts and where it finishes. Yeah. So he's running straight through, and the defenders grabs a hold of his arm, and he's got a hold of his arm the whole time, goes into the box. And I think it might have been Murphy actually. I think they don't look at it or make more of it because he kind of gets a half shot away on it, but he's 100% got a hold of him and he's stopping him from getting to the ball.
I can't remember that.
I can't.
Was it Murphy? Actually, I think I
it might
remember
be
it was.
Murphy,
Yeah, it did look like they had a hold of him, but he didn't really complain about it.
No, and that's what I mean. And whether that, but he's 100% got a hold of him, and whether that's it, not making, not going down or being, pulling himself back, like, maybe a more intelligent / cheater may have done.
Cheater.
The next question is from Josh Kerrs, Chris, and we've kind of already discussed it. He says, why are we bringing Tonali off? He was our best creative player on Saturday, and we went to shit as soon as he went off. It was a crazy decision, but let's flip the question round. Tonali's been pretty impressive since he's returned to football. No,
he has been good, but I think, like, just to touch on that question a little bit, I mean, I think one criticism of Howe has always been his substitutes to a certain degree, hasn't it? I mean, again, that kind of raises a 10. But yeah, no, I think he's been super impressive. He's been playing a lot for Italy as well, like a load, so getting some minutes in. So then that's why you think, well, immediately when he was setting him off, I was like, well, is he like just still trying to ease him in like a little bit? But bloody hell, you would like to think he's being eased in at this stage.
Italy owned.
Well, yeah, exactly. Italy are playing him all the bloody time. But no, he has looked good. I like the link-up play between him and Bruno a little bit more. We're getting to see a bit more of that now as well. And but I still don't know. For me, I still don't know what our starting 3 midfielders should be.
I don't know where they are supposed to be on the field.
That's my thing. I'm not too sure.
Tonali was dropping back and like it's. I mentioned you more, didn't I? He was playing so deep when we first kicked off, and I'm thinking, is this where he's supposed to be?
I wonder if they're just kind of taking turns.
Just rotating.
How Joe and Joe used to do it on the kind of dovetails on the left. Because they're quite similar, aren't they, Bruno and Tonali? I think Tonali's a bit more muscular, a bit like firm in the tackle, as it were. So you'd probably expect he would be more that kind of player, the number 6, I believe.
I think the difference when it comes to defensively, Bruno's the player that is just, he's not asked about winning the ball. He just wants to take the player with it as well. Yeah. Where Tonali, I think he's a lot more intelligent when it comes to tackling, where he wants to steal the ball, then advance, where Bruno's just smash, celebrate the fans. Yeah. It feels like it's working a bit better for all. We haven't really been brilliant so far. But I remember the first few months when Tonali came, before the ban, it was a bit of a, we don't really know. Him and Bruno didn't seem to be not getting on, but they weren't. It wasn't gelling. It wasn't quite clicking between those two, and Joe Linton as well. So, Joe Linton was quite poor on Saturday as well, actually.
I don't think he was all right. I don't think he's had a great start of the season, full stop.
No,
different.
I would have, out of the 3 in the midfield, I would have had him off and brought on probably Longstaff or Miley, wouldn't it be? Most likely Longstaff, because Miley's not played.
Are we missing Longstaff in the starting 11?
I think it might be. I honestly think it might be. But
then who do you drop?
I think, well, of the 3 midfielders that we've got, I think Tonali is the one who offers you this. He's got very not similar attributes. His strong attributes are the same as Longstaff. So what Longstaff gives, I think Tonali gives, but is better at it. But I think Longstaff's one of those players that, I think he gets a terribly hard time. We all know that he's not technically the most gifted footballer, but he's not going to kind of ping a 75-yard pass onto someone's toe end like Titus Brown used to do, for instance.
Or take a half-decent free kick.
Oh, yeah, the free kick was terrible, wasn't it?
He wasn't the only one. The whole standard of dead balls and set pieces that we had on Saturday were horrific.
So do you know what it is? Just to stick with you, Bessie, the comments come in straight away. As soon as you mention Longstaff's name, the comments come in. It's from James Griffiths that says, "We're not missing Longstaff, full stop." I find that mental, I categorically hate him.
I don't agree with James there. I think as we look to progress, if we want to become a regular team in the top 4, and I mean, Longstaff's 27 years old, so he's not going to be around forever. I think when you look at kind of recycling your team and replacing your poorer players, I think Longstaff's probably one of the next ones off the rank, as they say, a right winger. Yeah. Defensive kind of got tied up because hopefully Botman comes back fit and all that. A left back maybe because hopefully quite well on Saturday. But I think I think he probably has been replaced. I think now you've got Tonali starting games. I don't think Longstaff is going to play a great deal more as a first teamer. Sorry, in the first starting games, you've been on the bench quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I think he's a fine player. Longstaff's all right. I think the stuff he does, and I've said this before about Longstaff, is he's always where he's supposed to be, so well drilled and so kind of conscientious about what his role is in the team, that he's always where he's meant to be. where you get some players, we mentioned Dan Burn going walk about earlier on. I think that's a little bit harsh, but at Longstaff, he's going to be exactly where he should be. He might not be able to do anything when he's there, but at least he's there.
It's almost like where you're getting that.
It's like me looking
It's
at
that
a salad.
problem that's like England had for years and years with the midfield. You've got fantastic midfield players. Which ones do you put into the team, and can they play together? Because necessarily your best midfielders on paper or individually don't necessarily make your best trio.
Well, James follows it up. That says
Euros.
Tonali is supposed to be Longstaff's replacement, which we agree with. He says Bruno hasn't been brilliant, but you can't drop Bruno. Correct.
And that's the thing. He's almost God, and I can't believe I'm the one to say this, but that's sometimes part of the issue. Like Bruno should have been pulled off on Saturday, way ahead.
When he got home, maybe.
And I'm amazed that it happened, that he did get taken off at that point. But it is that almost untouchable piece that when he has to stay on because it's Bruno, he has to be playing. And I get it. He is one of our best players when he is on his mettle. But people are then, questioning Isak. Oh, but he's crap. He shouldn't. He's this, miss that. Get him off. Asula should be coming on. So if that goes for Isak, then it's got to go for Bruno as well. And you know how much I love Bruno, but you cannot be in that position where he's just held up and not being able to. If you're not playing well, you're not having a good game, you can't just stay on that pitch. And I'm going to say it again. Ever since he's been given that captain's armband, he's been honking.
I thought he's been honking.
I don't know he's been honking.
He has, man.
You can't say honking like. I think
then I suppose
honking's harsh.
I think you need to retract that sentence.
He's been
honking.
well below his standards.
That's better.
But then does he think that Bruno could maybe produce something like out? Because you can have a rubbish game and then all of a sudden
That's
that's
why
one through ball and then that's that.
And
I think that's why he kept Isak on.
Yeah, well, exactly.
If there's a half a chance there, you think he's going to take it.
And he did those two chances Isak had in the first half. Bruno, if memory serves,
he's
played one of them at least.
Yeah.
Key to it.
So
Stem from Tonali though.
It's a great through ball. It is a great through ball though from Bruno.
I don't think.
I said a couple of weeks ago. I think we've got a real problem in midfield because we've got these individuals there, but they're all trying to, do a role that isn't necessarily how they would want to be playing and stuff like that.
Because they both want to play further forward, don't they? Really?
Yeah, and to do that, if you're going to play both Tonali and Bruno, they should be the front two of your midfield three. So therefore, we need
Is the issue not necessarily the players on the field? It's basically how they're set up in
the
midfield.
Formation goes a lot about that as well.
Is Eddie Howe very stubborn with the formation? It's very rarely that he's changing that.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah. But it is. I think it is a lack of an actual number 6 because he is playing them both kind of in that slot, isn't he? Like Bruno mostly, but both of them in that kind of. If we are going to play a 3, I don't know if is it 2 number 8. I don't know if you count it as that, but like those two players that are going to go forward from that central midfield position, we don't have somebody who's just going to sit there and be happily sit there. So that
Bruno will spend most of his time doing that, but then he'll push on, and then you've got one of them have got to drop in and kind of cover
somebody
it.
Wants to do, though, is it?
100%. And that's where we'd seen getting the best of him, like in seasons gone by, was that the little triangles that we always used to talk about when you had Trippier there, you had Miggy, Bruno was in there, even Longstaff would get involved and push up on the outside of it. And having Longstaff in the team allows Bruno to do that because he knows as soon as he goes forward, Longstaff's dropping into that hole and covering it off.
Once again, like
midfield.
we mentioned earlier on the show, we're making out that Longstaff's better than what he is because he's not playing.
But to Bestie's point,
Longstaff before.
He just does it. Like I said there, when Bruno goes on his wander, Longstaff fills in. He knows, well, I can't be going there as well because I'm just going to leave a massive gap. How many times have we massively been overrun in midfield and then just piling onto a defence because there's no one there?
I think Longstaff's his best attribute is probably his discipline.
Yeah.
So you're saying Longstaff that like you said earlier, the fact that his attributes are defensive approach and position approach rather than going up the field.
Well, can you remember there was one game last season where we looked at his stats and there was about one pass, no tackles, no dribbles. It was like he was just on the pitch. He was a number.
He was there.
He was a bloke in a black and white shirt on the pitch, basically. Yeah. But yeah, I think I don't think Longstaff's an awful footballer out like that. It's one of those ones we've seen. You say time and time again. We had it with Miggy, we had it with Perch, Williamson. Go through the list of players. Whenever he misplaces a pass, the whole stadium's going, oh. And people go up and I was in Decker's sitting there on a Monday night and he's giving it 6 now.
Or people blame you for goals that you know we're even involved in.
Yeah. I think Longstaff, I think it's a bit unfortunate that with Longstaff.
We're not saying he's world beater right before.
But no, I'm
far from it.
If I'm naming my first team, Longstaff's not in it. My strongest team, not Sean Longstaff. But bless my, I like Sean Longstaff a lot.
But you're naming that based on the names and what they're capable of, rather than what they are actually delivering on the pitch.
A slight concern to me is that we've sat here for a while now, and Chris just said it as well, like, well, don't we have a number 6?
Yeah.
But this is now Eddie Howe's second full season, 2.5 years, and we haven't signed a number 6. We've got all right midfielders. We have Joe Linton, bring Longstaff.
But Joe Willock can't get in the team.
Bruno, Joe Willock, but with all these windows, we haven't signed a hold and a proper. I don't even have one since Toyota, really.
Did you want to? I love the comment that came in. This comment came in from Daz that says, if Longstaff was foreign, everybody would want him gone. It's the opposite. We've sat so many times around here, say, because he's a local lad, he gets more stick than what the foreign lads do.
That was the whole argument out of the podcast that he's just done with Shearer.
Just going to say that,
where they talked about that, and there's then that whole camp of the ones that are on that side that agree with him. That's it. And they're like, well, no, because he's getting an easy ride because he is a local. I've never seen a local player get an easy ride from
the
from
two
our
players who
fans.
get the most out of it is probably Dan and Sean, you would say.
Yeah.
I'll give you one name and look at the reaction. In fact, I won't even say the name. I'll just look at you.
I know, because I was thinking exactly the same thing as you, Mark. 7 out of 10.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Done it.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't the worst.
He wasn't like.
But he wasn't. He was. He wasn't brilliant.
For what we were at the time that he was at the club, Paul Dummett was fine.
Worst. Absolute worst.
We were never. Paul was Harry Dummett like. He scored the day I got married as well, like, so he always have his place in my heart.
All right, okay.
He wasn't a world beater, but
it's followed up by another comment from John Brown that says, "Daz, you're spot on. His only attribute is he's local." John was going to turn off 5 minutes ago, but you're still here. Hi, John. I thought you were going for hi. I don't get it. Like you said, Mark, it's what opposite sides of the fence.
And that's what I don't understand, because there's.
I think the local lads do get shit more than the foreign
You've got it as well. Like Miggy, Miggy's exactly the same. There's a bunch of people that hate Miggy. There's a load of people that don't think he's bad at all and appreciate what he does.
Do you know what it is? I think
even Jonas Gutierrez, before he had his
Howden, he's from
for what?
From Howden.
He's from Howden.
All these local lads.
He's from
Johnny Guitar.
Howden.
do you know what it is? I think as football fans, people are allowed different opinions, and that doesn't matter if it's about performances from players, like sort of what the delivering and things like that. And I think we're allowed to disagree. Yeah. Just don't be a tit.
Maxi's still shit though.
He's not.
Did you see the interview with Nile Ranger last week? Quite interesting.
No, I did not.
Nah.
Yeah,
that was good. I'm not going to tell you about it now. I'm just saying it was interesting.
I saw the one that you did with.
To be fair, it was a lot of the rehashed comments that we've heard in the past, but it does at least seem to have sunk in that he's absolutely blown his career.
He says in the interview that he kind of regrets what he did, and he was I think he said a spoiled young man and all that. Like, and it was he's 32, 33 now, playing down at like Chippenham or something like that. So he's like really quite far down the pyramid. But it was an interesting thing. I'm on his side, which I wasn't at all.
I've got a story about
Nile Ranger,
but I can't say here.
Oh, is it live?
There was another. I can't remember who it was legit, now.
Yeah.
The under the Kosh podcast, there was a player who was at Blackpool. It was only like about 3 weeks ago. That was on it, and he was asked about players that he played with, and he came out and said, nearly said Nile Rogers there. Nile Ranger.
Very chic in the middle of the park.
Yeah, was probably one of the most talented players that he ever played with.
Yeah.
What podcast was he on? People asking.
It wasn't a podcast. It was BBC or Sky Sports website.
All right. Okay.
Basically done an interview, hadn't he?
It was only quite a short thing. But it was interesting. I enjoyed, like I say, a very brief thing, like, but he comes across quite well. He's grown up a bit. Like,
he basically admitted that he'd sabotaged his own career, which everybody knows that he did from looking from the outside in.
Yeah, and
it's just taken him a while to realise it himself. But yeah, the under the Kosh one, like, he's basically the same kind of thing. He's like, he was hugely talented, but he just. The attitude just wasn't there. There was quite a funny story that because he'd gone to Blackpool and he was on a bit of a pays you play type of contract.
Yeah, that's right.
So he was getting paid next to nothing to go, and it was only when he'd get into the team that he'd get paid, or like goal scoring like bonuses and stuff like that. So that's how he was making his money. So he'd gone to fill up his car at the petrol station, gone in, blah blah, came out. Then the guy that I can't think who it was now that was on the podcast said he'd then gone into the petrol station, filled his car up. He'd went in, and the bloke in the garage went, "Oh, that's 120 quid." He's like, 120 quid? He was like, "No, I've only put 50 quid in there." He was like, "But Niall's just been in." He said, "Whoever comes in next, they're just going to pay for mine as well." And he apparently used to do this all of the time because he wasn't getting paid like a lot of money, so that he had to like almost live on tick from like other players and stuff like that until he would get like a bonus through and things like that to do it. But yeah, he was full of praises for actually how good he was, and that he could have been an absolute world beater because he had all the talent in the world, but mentally he wasn't there. I'm
going to fire through the last couple of questions here. So this one is from Paul Flanagan Photography, who I met a couple of weeks ago. Great lad. I was at a wedding and he was there, and he came over and introduced himself as well. So hi, Paul. He says, do you think we should spend the potential Mark Gay money on a right winger, or spread it over two players? Or we're completely ruling out Gay now?
I think we'll sign him still.
I think we'll still sign him.
Yeah, just for half the price.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we
in
will.
January.
When's his contract up again? Is it
Summer, isn't it?
Summer.
Maybe he's like, because in the summer they'll get absolutely out for him, will they? Possibly.
They're in trouble as well, aren't they, Palace?
Yeah,
bottom, I think, they're having a
Yeah,
rebound.
great start.
Get Hudson back in.
I just worry whether I'm going to say I'm saying that, but he hasn't set the world alight so far this season, has he? Just
No, he's been poor.
whether or not there will be more suitors for him come.
Yeah, true. I think we'll try. But
I think we'll go for him. Like, I think we will. But that's not answering the question, is it? I think that we a right winger or spread it about. I was going to say a right winger and a striker, but let's use 70 million as a figure because that was apparently that won't go very far for a winger and a striker.
No, not far at all.
In 2024. So,
like, could you name someone that you would sign for that?
Can you honestly say you were spending 70 million pound on a right winger though?
Joey Barton again, he's gone that way now, isn't he?
The weekend, honestly, off his tits up.
Yeah.
We're not even going to go into that. Like, idiot. I don't know. Because what did we pay for Bonds? 40, was it?
Yes, about that, yeah.
Well, that's it.
To relegate a team though, so
Yeah.
There's rumours of Semenyo, isn't it? Again, that
I think that's just an easy rumour though, isn't it? Because he's
what that? Aye. All the talk in the summer of the Chelsea lad, Madueke, he got a hat-trick first game of the season. Never mind. I'm not getting him then.
But he hasn't featured a huge amount.
Because they've got every winger under the sun playing for them. I like Noddy Madueke a lot. Like I think when he plays for England, he can be a bit selfish. I've thought he's desperate to get that goal.
Morgan will love him.
Himself, doesn't he?
Morgan will love him. Bring him in. Bring him in just for a Monday night.
Or Alanga, maybe.
Alanga's another one that's
Forest.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Another really fit player for us to.
Someone else would break.
Yeah. They're already broken, I think.
Did Chiesa go to Liverpool in the end?
Yeah.
Has he played for them yet?
I think he's had.
Has he had a substitution appearance? Yeah.
It's weird because I really like to look at him, but he did nothing at Juve.
But that was it though. There was like they got they paid like 12 or 20 million. Something that wasn't
Really
a lot.
cheap.
And it's like, well, why has nobody else picked him up for that amount of money? There's got to be something.
Sent long bells because he looked great at Fiorentina. Had that really Euro 2021. I thought he looked excellent.
Yeah.
When it got the move to Juve off the back of it, and the only time I've heard of him since then was transfers away. Talk of him going
We were linked with him quite often.
a few times away. Yeah.
And I think that's because of the one wanting shot of him.
Yeah, but it's everyone kicking off all the time. Why aren't we buying Chiesa? And it's like, well,
Yeah, there's a reason.
there's obviously a reason.
Yeah.
Let's go to the final question.
And Boomo's gone quiet. That was the other one that we were.
yes.
Brentford. I really
linked
like
with,
him.
wasn't
He's
it?
decent, isn't he?
I really like him.
Plays the top as well.
I think he would probably be my pick of the bunch.
Yeah.
Right, last question. It's from our very own Scott. And he says, Bestie, I'm coming to you.
Yeah.
Because you're the one that been putting the links in the WhatsApp group earlier today. Thoughts on Staveley's WhatsApp messages? Not a Dasmo.
Leave us alone.
Stop texting us,
I'm
Daz.
trying to get to sleep, man.
I'm not on the train.
Anyone that should left.
Have you not got my lawyer's letter?
So yeah, thoughts on it. Explain what's happened.
So I've very briefly read the article when I was watching telly with the kids earlier.
It's the Times, isn't it?
Telegraph,
Telegraph.
but I read in the Guardian because obviously. Basically, apparently, WhatsApp messages have been leaked in which Amanda Staveley has said to Mike Ashley during the course of the takeover that the Crown Prince is getting impatient, and there was another one that alluded to Mohammed bin Salman growing tired of the process of purchasing Newcastle,
which we all were.
Yeah, and I think the kind of gotcha that it's meant to be is that that it indicates that there's no separation between the Saudi state and the PIF, of which MBS is chairperson.
Mhm.
So I don't really think it's weird that they're running with it and they're going with it, but I don't think it's as newsworthy as people are kind of worried about.
To think that he wouldn't have had some say in at least saying yes or no or
Yeah.
wanting to do it, then I think you're going to be ignorant. I think that otherwise, like, surely, irrelevant of this whole like, oh, it's nothing to do with them. He's still probably the one saying yes or no, though.
What the Premier League wanted as well, Mark, was after the takeover went through, they wanted reassurances that he wouldn't be involved in the day-to-day running of the football club, which
he isn't. He's not going to be.
Doesn't seem to have been. I don't think he'd be at us. We are for the
like
Well,
even
that's
Al
who we are, man.
even Al Ruman isn't involved in the day-to-day running the club from what we've seen so
Yeah.
far. He'll turn up every now and again
we'll lose.
to
He'll
watch
turn up,
us.
We'll lose.
You'd have
He'll
that
go to
super black white
Castle.
line on the inside.
Yeah.
He wears the training gear to have a game of golf now and again. But to me, it just almost reeked of that name dropping kind of thing of like almost a bit of a threat of like,
Yeah.
you know, oh well, you've got to get it through because you know the big boss is getting a bit pissed
Yeah.
off. Yeah, he's you know potentially going to. So it's almost, you know, you're doing it as a bit of a fear factor to try
it's
and
like scaremonger,
encourage
innit?
them to do it. That's the way I've kind of looked at it, because he's not going to have been, you know, sitting with, well, how are you, Amanda? Have you not sorted that out yet?
Yeah.
What's happening
Like
Do
it's
you-
not like he hasn't got anything else to be doing.
I'm going to ask you, Mark, to pick up that tinfoil hat again that you had earlier in the show. Do you think this is some sort of Premier League cartel having a bit of a push into this as well by thinking, hang on, what's happening with Man City at the minute? Newcastle United may have the possibility to spend some money now that we don't know what's going to come out. Then once again, we need to stop this from happening.
I don't think I'll need my tin hat for this one because I think it's 100% true. It's like it almost it's deflecting from the situation. So I don't know about the cartel thing and trying to do it, but it's more trying to get some headlines of the fact of, oh well,
Having some sort of influence.
yeah, that's
They'll
it.
definitely be
It's
saying
putting
something about
the story out there, isn't it?
Spurs
Because
were saying
Who's what's the leak? So if it's a WhatsApp group to do with the takeover, so you've got like the size
So
should be the.
it has to be
I
somebody
guess
on.
it's got to be Ashley.
It's got to be the person that Staveley was dealing with
Ashley.
on behalf now, because it wasn't because in the messages they're talking about getting a message
Mike.
back to Mike.
Right. Okay.
So it's the person that
It's
was
Dennis
Mike's representative in it, which I think he basically had his lawyers running it or something. Didn't
It would be. Yeah, I guess
he? So there'll have been the person that was brokering from
Derek Lambert
on behalf of Ashley, that she's been dealing with texting. It's going to have leaked from there, 100%.
Well, that's the thing. If it's leaked from there, then I don't get the link of what's it got to do with the rest of the Premier League. If it's been a private message encrypted in WhatsApp as well, so it turns out to be.
And it's as you say, it's because of the Premier League being given those guarantees to push it through that he wouldn't be involved in with the running with the club. I don't think the messages in any way show that he's involved in the running of the club. So I think it's irrelevant. I think they're just trying to shine the light on the fact of, oh well, there must be some sort of involvement there because she's mentioned his name in a series of text messages twice.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything.
It's like you can guarantee that reporter, when he's been trying to do a story in the past, he would have went, but the chief executive editor is really unhappy if you don't get me this answer now. They'll be doing exactly the same thing. It's name dropping to influence the decision or to get it pushed through or to rush it.
Yeah.
That's 100% what it is.
I think you're probably
There's
right,
no
Mark.
way Amanda Staveley, as much as I love her, has got a direct line into MBS. No chance.
Probably not. No.
Probably not. No.
I agree. I think you summed it up well, Mark.
I'm not sure about it being leaked in order to kind of influence the rest of the Premier League.
I just think from
I think
what
it's just
we've seen-
shining a light on it because of everything that's going on.
everything we've seen previously. Anything where Newcastle are putting a bad light when it comes to the possibility of spending money, it goes back to those Premier League teams.
A lot of times it does. Like,
Most of the time, it goes back to Spurs and Levy. That's who it goes back to, doesn't it?
Well, there was the thing with the Man City court case the other week, and the name was redacted.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who emailed, and it was surely Daniel Levy, isn't it?
Yeah, it had to be.
Probably. I mean, I know the racist bloke out of that band I mentioned the other week probably is litigious.
Alleged.
I guess Daniel Levy probably.
The
I
alleged.
guess Daniel Levy probably is litigious. So I'm going to hang back a little bit on that one, like, but
It does then question the whole stories that are out there at the minute around Staveley and an apparent interest in buying Spurs.
yeah.
What, unless that my hope is that that she's doing it to get inside in Spurs and ruin them for for what they did during this whole process.
Imagine.
That would be
Probably
lovely,
so
wouldn't
petty
it?
and come home.
It was me all along, Austin, and there's Amanda Staveley pulling her mask off.
MBS mask. Anything that you want to add before
Bessie
we end
hasn't
it?
got a clue what that is, has
I
he?
can't remember that in Austin Powers films at all. What the hell is going on? Anything else I'd like to add? Nah,
Nothing.
I'm spent.
Nothing. Okay. Thanks everybody who
One
has joined.
thing,
Oh,
I think we were doomed with that kickoff as soon as the flag went up in the Leeds end. That start to the game just summed
That's
up everything that followed, didn't
The
it?
biggest smile I've had on my face for that full 90 minutes was them trying to figure out that
you know what it is?
circle flag.
I love the war flag stuff as well. But I did find it really funny.
Yeah.
There's one of the lads, war flags, like I can't say war flags, lads, stands in front of me the right little bit. He's just like that.
Well,
Was it Chris?
that's what I was exactly going to say.
It's not Chris.
Is you could say all of the ones that normally do it that weren't involved up at that end, we're all standing there just shaking their heads, going, "What are they doing?" And we were chatting to them at the phone. Went, "Wouldn't happen if you were up there, would it?"
It's a fact they kept on trying to drag the full dicky bow tie.
It's funny.
across the full
That's
stand.
what someone looked like, didn't it? A bow tie.
What's that pasta?
War bow
Is
ties.
it farfalle, that twist in the middle like that? The pasta. Is it farfalle? Like a bow tie pasta.
Fettuccine.
Possibly.
It's fettuccine, is it?
No idea. No idea. In other news as well, club shop / store
Controversial
is
stuff there.
opening on Friday, apparently.
Not a chance.
Apparently so.
Who says this?
Apparently so.
I seen something saying it wasn't going to be open until November. Now I literally see. Well, in fact, all of
We're
us
not
seen
that
it.
far off.
All of us seen it on Saturday.
Yeah.
There's not a thing inside of it except lights
Apparently-
and an escalator.
Apparently Friday.
Nah.
Apparently Friday.
Is that not when it should have been opening?
It should have been opening like July or something, shouldn't it?
Nah, it said that it was always middle of this month.
No, it wasn't. It was August at the start, wasn't it? It was August, then they delayed it till
Because I had
November.
that big time bridge.
But yeah, we don't know what I'm to say on Friday. Apparently it's Friday. Apparently it's
Who said this?
Don't know what.
I think it came from, I think Matty from the Magpie Chance put a video on. I'm guessing he spoke to a few people.
I'll have
around
a look
the
through the
club
window tomorrow.
shop. All right. And see how you take it.
Buy
when
me
you're there.
dinner.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. If you do want to link the video, I can't pass it on to me now, bestie.
It is farfalle.
It's horrible, isn't it? It's what?
Farfalle.
Oh,
Farfalle.
right, okay.
Farfalle.
Okay. Thanks for watching the video. Just like it means a lot to us as well.
It doesn't to me. I don't care.
Bessie doesn't give a fuck.
I couldn't give a fuck. Like,
Doesn't care. I'm not even going to do the rest of it. Thanks, everybody. See you next time. Ta-ra.